Good afternoon. Are we blessed? Aren't we blessed to be on Cape Cod on a beautiful day like today? It's just so gorgeous. I'd like to welcome you on behalf of the Mercy Otis Warren Cape Cod Woman of the Year Selection Committee. Today we celebrate this year's recipient, Marion Mimi McConnell. Thanks to COVID-19, we are a little late, but hey, we're here today. It's a beautiful day, we're outside, and we are among Mimi's friends and family and Mercy. I have the distinct honor of being here today as member of the Mercy Otis Warren Cape Cod Woman of the Year Selection Committee. I should have introduced myself. I'm Ann Kennedy. I live here in the village. And I am also one of the directors and member, program chair, and secretary of Tales of Cape Cod, right down the street, which is one of the sponsors of this event and has been for many years. I also have the distinct pleasure of being a colleague of Mimi's on the Community Advisory Council of the Environmental Management Commission, Upper Cape Water Protection Supply Reserve, of which you will hear that Mimi is an integral and an important part. My task here, and it is a pleasant one at that, is to introduce our Master of Ceremonies, Matt Pitta. We have been fortunate that he has been our MC for many years, formerly a broadcaster and a news director at Cape Cod Broadcast, iHeartRadio, and Quantum Communication. He has been recognized with 3 Edward R. Murrow Awards for excellence in journalism and dozens of Associated Press awards. He has been Director of Communications for Davenport Properties for the past year. It is my pleasure, our pleasure, to introduce our friend, Matt Pitta.
Thank you, Ann. It's certainly an honor to be here again this year. It's been many years that I've been asked to host, and it's really one of my favorite events of the year, and I think it's just great that we were able to do it this year, and we're outside doing it safely, and it's a great day, and boy, we have some great introductions and some great stories to tell you here today as we celebrate the 2020 Mercy Otis Warren Cape Cod Woman of the Year. So thank you for the organizers again for asking me to come back this year. I certainly appreciate it. We'll start things off this afternoon with our county administrator from Barnstable County, Jack Units. And Jack's going to talk a little bit about this year's essay winner. Jack, if you would.
A few years back, we decided that history had to be sustainable. And the best way to make it sustainable was to try to get the kids involved. And so the committee of Mercy Otis Warren's strongest benefactors and supporters came up with the idea of having an essay contest with all 5th graders across Cape Cod. And every year at this event, we provide the award and a scholarship to the winner of that event. This year, it was Mariah Pillsbury from Wareham, who was a student at St. Francis at the time. She's now off Cape. And she wrote a brilliant essay saying that studying the life of Mercy Otis Warren changed her life and vision and convinced her that you never, ever give up. And what a lesson that is in the COVID generation. So we're real pleased to make that award today. And I think, Ann, you're going to take the award because her teacher has parent-teachers conference. Oh, Ed's going to take the award? And we can't thank Ed, by the way, for all his guidance and leadership and reading through all these essays. Yeah, it was great to have you on board, Ed.
All right. Well, of course, we're here to celebrate the Mercy Otis Warren Cape Cod Woman of the Year Award. And we know that it was back in 1728 when Mercy Otis Warren was born right here in the village of West Barnstable, a playwright, a historian, and of course a pioneer in women's causes and a champion of liberty and an advocate for our Bill of Rights and a patriot. Now, we all know that it was an era, that it was certainly unusual for a woman to be educated much less to emerge as one of our top leaders of that time. Her advocacy for the cause of patriotism and a central role in the revolution was certainly remarkable. And as we stand here today, in the same area where Mercy Otis Warren would have stood 292 years ago, as we stand here in 2020, it's really likely more important than ever that we recognize someone like Mercy Otis Warren and today's honoree who so strongly represents freedom, liberty, and our Bill of Rights in this country. The need for leadership at this moment is critical. Today's honoree, like Mercy Otis Warren, has been a tireless leader for what at times may have seemed like some insurmountable causes. And we're going to hear a little bit more about that moving forward. So let's take a moment, because we are certainly honored here today to have some of our past recipients. Gloria Rudman is here. Gloria, stay standing, please. Nancy Shoemaker. Nancy, if you would stand. Where's Nancy? Felicia Penn. I saw Felicia earlier. Felicia's in the back. We earlier introduced Mary LeClaire. Barry, again, in the far corner. Judy Scarafile. Where's Judy? Where's Judy? Sue French. Where'd you go, Sue? And of course, Lynn Poyant. Lynn, good to see you. And I know we also have, I saw Dorothy out there, Master. There's Dorothy. Dorothy Savarese. Dorothy, thanks so much for being here. It's a great honor to have all of you here, our past honorees for the Mercy Otis Warren Cape Cod Woman of the Year. So we certainly appreciate that. We appreciate you taking the time to be here with us for this year's event. While we introduced Dorothy Savarese just a moment ago, if I could also, Dorothy, on behalf of the committee, thank the Cape Cod Five for being a presenting sponsor here. If you could give the Cape Cod Five a round of applause. Always here to help out on Cape Cod with various events. So, Dorothy, thank you, and your leadership with the bank and your philanthropy, as always, through the Cape Cod Five. We appreciate that. So, we want to talk about our honoree here today, but first I want to tell you a little bit about how the award came about. This award, the Mercy Otis Warren Cape Cod Woman of the Year Award, was established back in 2002. Who's been here since the beginning? A lot of you have been here since the very beginning. To annually recognize a woman who exemplifies the traits and leadership in the community and has made significant contribution to the arts, education, business community, and/or volunteerism while embracing the ideals of patriotism right here on Cape Cod. And we will now formally, for the first time, of course everyone knows who it is, but this year's honoree is Mimi McConnell. Mimi, if you just stand up for a quick moment, we'll have you sit back down after, but just say hello to everybody. Our honoree is here, and we're going to hear more about you in just a moment. Thanks so much for everything you've done for the community. We do have some citations. Before we tell you a little bit more about Mimi, I'd like to have our folks come up to do our citations. And I believe State Rep Hunt, Randy, you're going to do one of our first citations. Sandwich State Representative Randy Hunt with our first citation.
I started down this road into politics unknowingly back in 2001 when I started a weekly cable access TV show in Sandwich called A Little Knowledge is a Dangerous Thing. And Mimi was one of my first guests. She was on with a panel, and she was in the middle of, and still is, working on the cleanup of the base, and has stayed with that all of these years, and I really thank you for that. Your list of accomplishments is, quite frankly, it's just unparalleled. It's amazing to see the advocacy that you've had since you've been here and before. So, and one thing from David Vieira, he said he's working on your project, and you would know what that is. But I polled all of the Cape legislators this morning, and all of them joined me in wishing you the best. And so we have a citation here from the House of Representatives. Be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Marion Mimi McConnell in recognition of being named the Mercy Otis Warren Cape Cod Woman of the Year. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. Given this 14th day of October 2020, and signed by the Speaker of the House and by me. And we'll keep it up here for you, but this is what it looks like, just so you can see. I always like to remind people that I actually personally pay for these things. They don't do this for free. So I have some skin in the game for you, Mimi. Congratulations.
All right. We're going to continue with our proclamations, and I believe that we're going to have Jessica Rapp-Grissetti come up and join us from the town of Barnstable, and also Paul Hebert. So if the two of you could make your way up for our next proclamation for Mimi.
So Mimi, congratulations. Okay. So the town of Barnstable wants to recognize you for your long list of activities that brings you to this point. And I think we'll be talking more about that as we go along. So I'm going to go to the last lines of your wonderful work. Mimi, too, has used a public forum. She shares many of the passions and interests of Mercy Otis Warren, who would have approved of Mimi's tenacity and willingness to work for what is right. So therefore, with the greatest of respect and gratitude, I, Paul Hebert, President of the Barnstable Town Council, have hitherto set my hand and caused the official seal of the town of Barnstable to be affixed this 14th day of October, 2020. Congratulations. Thank you.
Let's learn a little bit more about our honoree here today, our 2020 Mercy Otis Warren Cape Cod Woman of the Year. Mimi McConnell's name was first placed in a nomination by the Barnstable County Commissioners and was approved back in July of this year. She was originally nominated by Nancy Meager as president of the West Barnstable Civic Association and by Nancy Shoemaker, 2018 Mercy Otis Warren Cape Cod Woman of the Year, and by Mimi's daughter, Newbery Honor-winning author Lauren Elizabeth Wolk. Now, despite COVID-19, the selection committee for the Mercy Otis Warren Cape Cod Woman of the Year was still privileged to receive a very large number of outstanding nominations this year. And Mimi rose to the top in this very turbulent year, really as a modern-day Mercy Otis Warren, who, in the words of her daughter, has served the people of Cape Cod without fanfare. And I think as you'll learn here a little bit more as we speak, as we go through these accomplishments, those of you who've known Mimi and then myself who covered news here for almost 30 years, Mimi has had a tremendous impact and has done it very quietly. Soft-spoken, her tenacity when it comes to the preservation of our environment delivers a powerful punch. Before moving to Cape Cod back in 1982, she helped create a national seashore in Maryland and worked to save the Bay projects in San Francisco and Rhode Island. Here on the Cape, she quickly became involved serving as a board member on the Cotuit-Santuit Civic Association, with whom she has led grassroots village efforts to preserve the 35-acre parcel of land to protect the water quality of Popponesset Bay. This parcel is known as the Crocker Neck Conservation Area, which was purchased by the town of Barnstable back in the 1980s. Mimi was also co-founder of the Coalition for Buzzards Bay, serving as its first executive director from 1988 to 1995. During that time, she found time to do more. She was also the Cotuit Water Commissioner, a Barnstable Town Meeting member, and elected to the first Barnstable Town Council, serving as its first woman president, which deserves a round of applause right there. As an activist in the Cotuit Fire District, she created the Citizen Handbook, which explains the workings of our local government here in Barnstable. Then back in 1997, then Governor Jane Swift created a working community group to address concerns arising out of hazardous waste material plumes emanating from the Massachusetts Military Reservation, now Joint Base Cape Cod. Mimi was appointed chair of that group and guided the legislative process to help create the master plan that was codified in Chapter 47 back in 2002, and that master plan is now a national model for military-civil relations. Those of you who were around back then and kind of following what was happening, that was really a critical moment for Cape Cod when we learned about what was happening out at the base, and Mimi was instrumental in making sure that what had to get done got done. Today she serves as chair of the offshoot, the Environmental Management Commission Community Advisory Council, which oversees the activities at the base's 15,000 acres, and on the Military Civilian Council of Joint Base Cape Cod. Mimi has also served on the board of the Cape Cod Foundation, created the annual Jane Eschbach Community Service Award, and served on a Cape-wide Special Commission on County Government back in 2012, and was an active board member of the Barnstable Land Trust. Currently, active in movements to replace the canal bridges and to decommission the Plymouth nuclear facility. In nominating Mimi, 2018 Mercy Otis Warren Cape Cod Woman of the Year recipient Nancy Shoemaker said that over 250 years ago, Mercy Otis Warren discovered in her life of service that government and the voice of the people were essential. Mimi shares many of those passions and interests of Mercy Otis Warren, who would have absolutely approved of Mimi's tenacity and willingness to work for what is right for all of us here on Cape Cod. And now we will formally ask you to stand now, and let's please congratulate Mimi McConnell. Mimi, please stand for just a moment. The Mercy Otis Warren Cape Cod Woman of the Year for 2020. I'm not sure how you found time for all of that, and you're still going, which is great because we still need you, so keep going.
Okay, I'll try.
All right, let's bring up Sue French. Sue, if you would come up, and we're going to learn a little bit more from, or hear, if you will, from last year's recipient, Juliet Bernstein. Those of you who were with us last year remember how amazingly inspirational last year was. So Sue's going to tell us a little bit more about what Juliet has to say.
Okay. Good afternoon. These are the words of Juliet Bernstein, last year's recipient of this award. Juliet regrets that she's unable to be here today, but she sent along a picture of herself, and she's well and doing well, but unable to travel to be here today from Chatham. Oh. Would I ask that of anyone else? I thought of that, Lynn, but then I thought I wouldn't announce anyone's age, but it is pretty impressive. She's 107 years old. Yeah, she is. She's an amazing woman, for those of you that were here last year and get her words of wisdom. And she has a laugh that is to die for, a chuckle that is amazing, sharp as a tack. And these are her words to you, Mimi. Marion McConnell, known as Mimi by most of those who know her, is the 20th awardee of the Mercy Otis Warren Cape Cod Woman of the Year Award. Anthropologist Margaret Mead said, "One person can make a difference," and indeed, it always has. We are indeed fortunate that Mimi moved to Cape Cod in 1982, for she certainly has made a difference. She has not only gotten involved in existing committees, but has been the co-founder of the Coalition for Buzzards Bay, serving as its first executive director. The coalition's mission is to monitor the health of its ecosystem through research, education, and conservation. Wherever Mimi has lived, she has made a difference, whether San Francisco, Maryland, Rhode Island, or Cape Cod. She believes that the earth and planet belong to future generations all over the world. She has received numerous awards for her leadership in conservation and preservation groups at all levels, locally in her own village, Cotuit, part of the town of Barnstable, community-wide, statewide, and nationally. A leader and member of elected and appointed committees, Mimi is an excellent recipient of the Mercy Otis Warren Woman of the Year Award for 2020. It is suitable that this year that the statuette by David Lewis, artist who lives in Osterville, is being presented in front of the Barnstable Superior Court next to the large one of Mercy, also sculpted by David Lewis. As the 2019 recipient of the Mercy Otis Warren Award, it is my great honor to present this beautiful replica to Mimi. Congratulations and best wishes.
Well, Mimi, it's your time to shine. Well, you've been shining on the Cape for a long time now, but we want you to shine up here as well. So if you would, the 2020 Cape Cod Mercy Otis Warren Woman of the Year, Mimi McConnell.
This is a beautiful sight. We're so blessed today, and I'm overwhelmed. So please bear with me as I try to make sense of what I have written to read to you. I really want to thank the committee, first of all, as well, because they have worked so well and so long to make this event happen. And we certainly have lucked out today with the world of nature shining down upon us. It is humbling to receive this award, to put it mildly. But I am mindful that we are really here to honor, first and foremost, the life of Mercy Otis Warren and her impacts on the early days of this nation, as you have been hearing. There is no way to know for certain how her friendships with Abigail Adams and Martha Washington influenced their husbands as they shaped our nation's remarkable beginnings. She was a feisty one and clever, working behind the scenes through her plays and other writings to further the American Revolution. Did you know that she was the first woman in this country to write a history book? It took her 25 years and included 1,200 pages. Thomas Jefferson was very impressed and made everyone he knew read it. But Mercy also had more than her share of sorrows within her family as mother of 5 sons, and just very complicated family life. She had a remarkable husband who honored her and knew how talented she was and encouraged her. So somehow she did rise above the tragedies that she experienced in her lifetime. One wonders if women's right to vote would have been achieved much earlier than 1920 if Mercy had been alive to lead the crusade. In fact, 2 of my grandchildren are here, and years back I told them when they were just little kids that it wasn't until 1920 that women could actually vote. They didn't believe me. But finally they did. I persuaded them. But isn't this remarkable that in this land of freedom and innovation, that women somehow were not allowed to vote until then? Now I'm switching gears here, and I hope you'll bear with me and just throw me off the podium if you don't like what I'm saying. It is to the credit of many organizations here in Cape Cod and the islands that they are working on climate change and ways to meet this growing emergency right here at home. Indeed, we are blessed with incredible resources, including world-class scientists in Woods Hole, enlightened leaders in environmental and conservation organizations, in fields of banking, medicine and public health, education, the faith community, local government, agriculture, fisheries, and energy innovations. Yet, we are not working in concert in a way that strengthens all of our individual efforts, which leads me to the obvious suggestion shared by many that we forge a new framework, a new unifying entity that would coordinate our diverse efforts and thus magnify our impact in practical and inspiring ways. Can we not then call for an urgent gathering of our own state and local officials, key leaders from the sectors I just mentioned, to shape a Cape Cod Climate Task Force representing the interests of our diverse population with specific goals and timetables? The Cape Cod Commission could be the convening body, at least initially, to bring our leaders together. Some of our immediate goals would include weaning ourselves from fossil fuels to clean energy sources, especially solar energy. This could include thousands of acres of solar panels within the lower 7,000 acres of Joint Base Cape Cod, as military training takes place only on the upper 15,000 acres known as Camp Edwards. We, the people, of the Commonwealth actually own all 22,000 acres. Many in the public aren't aware of that, but we, the people, do own that remarkable place. For the past 25 years, I have looked at the lower and largely open 7,000 acres as sacred ground, held safely as our common wealth for future needs. It seems apparent that the moment is upon us to use our imagination and our can-do spirit to put a significant portion of these acres toward helping us solve our escalating climate change emergency. And Dorothy, I have my eyes on you to do something about it too. In short, I think we're at a moment in history that we could not have really anticipated as we were younger people, but now we are quite aware of the pandemic, of course, right now, claiming our attention, but worldwide, what we, the human being, is now given the task to take hold of and do the best we can to mitigate the effects of global warming, but to come up at the same time with innovative ways to live and work and adjust to the new world around us. It's daunting, obviously, but I believe we have the resources and the will, even globally, when we finally get together in a much larger arena, to work together to solve these very, very significant and engaging pursuits that we are now involved in. So thank you, everyone. It's a beautiful sight. All of you here, I really am humbled, and I thank you from my heart.
Mimi, thank you so much, and congratulations again on a very well-deserved honor, and your contributions to the Cape have been measurable. We certainly appreciate it, and I'm sure you'll agree that when we look out into the audience today, we see all of your now alumni who are out here from the Cape Cod Women of the Year Award, that the women who are here today who have been recognized have made such an indelible mark on Cape Cod, all of you. So you've done an amazing job, and people don't even know the 1% of all the amazing work that all of you have done. But congratulations to you, our 2020 winner. Congratulations.